officially 4 months since I started my journey. I'm dating it back to April 3rd, which was my last day at Riot Games. And yeah, so we're at the, I guess, the third of a way mark. And it's, yeah, I'm going through a lot of emotions right now. So for me, my run for TF2 Worlds ended. I think I mentioned that in the last vlog too. So I went through like the full range, you know, of feelings. Like, you know, at first, I don't know, I was weirdly like, I think it didn't really hit me within the first 24 hours, and I was just trying to almost like ignore that I was disappointed and just tried to be like, almost like an artificial positivity around it. And then hit me really hard, and I was like, fuck, like, this is a complete waste of time, like, why am I even doing this? And then a period of just like, I guess, demotivation, especially last week. Although I am happy that I did stream and I did the guides and I did largely what I was supposed to do, but just not with the same energy. And now I'm kind of just more at a place of, I don't know, I'm still processing it for sure. And I guess I'm in a more of a period of reflection about everything, because when I look back on the last 4 months, I think I have grown a bunch and I've learned a bunch. And I can see the areas where I need to improve. One of the big areas I've identified is just the way I train is just not efficient. Like, and at first, you know, I was like, oh wow, do I have the drive to do this? Like, I mean, am I working hard enough, etc.? And look, I can always work harder, but I don't think the results that I've gotten, which have been like, you know, they're not terrible results, but not as good as I'd like, have been the results of not working hard enough, but I guess just not working smart enough, you know, as cliche as that sounds. Because basically the way I approached playing the game was the way I'd been playing before, you know, just grind through, grind. And inevitably I'd go through a cycle of doing a bunch of grinding, get super frustrated, like really tilted, not want to play anymore, be super burnt out, and then just repeat the whole cycle over again. And it would be reflected in my ladder rankings too, you know, like when I had drops, I would have huge drops, you know? Like for those of you who follow the game, like hundreds of LP regularly, especially at the start of patches, when I'm still trying to figure things out. And I'll just wreak havoc on my psyche, and you know, then the way I cope is like stress eating, or just I'm an emotional eater in general, which is just like throw things into a spiral. So I would just go through that same loop over and over. And even though I recognize it, it's not like this was a huge revelation to me, I still couldn't really interrupt my pattern a lot of the time around this. So I think going forward into the next season of TFT, which I don't know when it's going to be announced, and that's another point that we'll get to later. The most important thing is just me training and not playing. And that's a difference between someone who's doing something for fun and someone who's doing something, even if they're like a serious enthusiast, and doing something, you know, with the intention of treating it like work and treating it like a competitor would. So yeah, I think these next, I guess, 2 months before the next set and the next season starts, or however long it's gonna be focused on really revamping how I practice, and spending less time actually in the game and more time watching other people. Because the great thing about this game is that it's actually really easy to watch other people and improve from it. And in fact, I think when I used to work, I watched more in proportion to how I played, and I would have more consistent results. So that's something I really have to do. And also just in reflecting about things, I think I mentioned this before, but at the start of this journey, I said one of the acceptable outcomes for me is just being a content creator streamer, and is either like content creator streamer or competitor. And what I've realized is, for me, it's actually really about competing, you know? If at the end of this, like, I'm just a super huge streamer and content creator, awesome, but it's not what I love, right? I like it most of the time. Of course, there are days when once something becomes a job, there's gonna be days that you don't feel like doing it, even though you're past self-committed to it. And I like, I particularly like the feedback that I get when I put out a guide and someone tells me it's helped them reach a goal or something like that. But what I love is mastery of the game and competing. So that's, to me, that is the acceptable outcome. So yeah, these last 4 months have shown me what it is that I really want, like what really is the goal. And it showed me at least partially what's holding me back from getting there. So yeah, I'm hoping that in the next 8 months or so that I'm giving myself to do this, I can really change my habits, and my practice hygiene, as it were, to make sure that every game is a learning experience. Because I think a lot of the time, particularly when I'm frustrated, I just play the game and then, it's like I didn't learn anything from it, right? And it's like that hour is just an hour I'm not going to get back. And yeah, you can sort of delude yourself into thinking, oh, you're improving by getting the reps. And it's on some level, yeah, you are making incremental progress, but to make the amount of progress that I need to make, I need to be treating this with a lot more discipline. Especially when I'm pissed off and don't feel like playing the game. So yeah, that's been my big revelation, or not big revelation, but something I've really understood at a deeper level. I don't know what it is for other people. When I think about the players who are currently better than me, I don't know why it is that they're better than me. I think everyone has different things. I'm sure some people, they have complete awful practice, but they're just more naturally talented, or they're more emotionally resilient and everything. One thing I don't actually understand about my play is my strengths. Like, I don't know what I'm good at, which is kind of weird. But I guess it's not that uncommon for people to not have extreme awareness around what makes them good. And I don't mean good, like, more generally speaking. Like, obviously, I understand things like econ management and compositions and how to transition better than the average player. But when I compare myself to other players at my level, I'm not actually sure what my strength and weakness profile is. So I think I need to spend some time thinking about that in order to be able to lean into my strengths versus my weaknesses. And now that I think about it, actually, it would be good to have a longer engagement with a coach who can see a higher volume of my games and be able to identify trends, so that I understand where I'm strong and weak, not even for my ego, but to understand how to play around my strengths as well as cover my weaknesses, because every player has them, right? And TFT is a game that is complicated enough that there are multiple ways that you can be successful at the game, right? And I don't actually know why I'm successful when I am. So that's something that is something I'm going to be digging into. So anyway, I'm looking forward to the next season. In the meantime, I'm going to just focus on grinding out content and grinding out on the streaming side and trying to improve my my metrics there, because I do know that, A, they're important for financial success in the future. And B, me being a streamer and content creator has sort of raised my profile and given me opportunities and connections that I wouldn't have had otherwise. So it makes sense to continue doing that. And no matter what, let's say I don't get where I want to be as a competitor, it's still cool to be able to look back on these last few months and be like, hey, I helped other people who love this game be better at the game. So that's pretty awesome too. All right, guys, so I'm gonna get out of here. Happy 4 months. Thanks for sticking with me and watching all these vlogs. It's still crazy to me. I know it's not like huge viewership on these vlogs, but even the fact that a few hundred people watch them is like kind of fucking mind-blowing to me. So thank you so much for watching and supporting and comments and all of that. And we're gonna keep grinding, keep sticking with it. Peace.